And now the
was the national anthem of Cameroon, and now that of today's home team, Kenya. Kenya, the home team today, but playing in Kampala, once again deprived of genuine home field advantage. And we are playing behind closed doors in the Ugandan National Stadium today. Kenya seeking revenge, of course, for their 4-1 defeat at the hands of Cameroon in Yaoundé a few days ago. This a double header for all teams involved in this AFCON qualifying campaign this month. This is how Kenya line up today. 4 changes from that game in Yaoundé, including notably in goal, Bernamondi of Kenya Commercial Bank comes in place of Patrick Matasi, who was guilty of certainly at least one significant error leading to a Cameroonian goal in that game a few days ago. Also coming into the side, Johnson Omurwa and Joseph Okumu into the defence, and John Avire starting in the attack. 4 changes altogether, possibly a change in formation for the Kenyans. It does look like 3 central defenders, but we'll keep an eye on that, of course. Today's referee is from Benin. They are with the 2 captains and with his assistants and 4th official. They are all from Benin today. And the captains there, Vincent Aboubakar of Cameroon on the right, and Michael Olunga is the Kenya skipper, the number 14. Such an important source of goals for club and country, the Qatar-based forward. Not too much reason for Cameroon to change things up other than just to keep things fresh. There are 3 changes altogether made by the coach, Marc Brice. Jean-Charles Castelletto comes into central defence in place of Christopher Wu. He replaced Wu early on in that game in Yaoundé a few days ago. Pierre Koundé will start in central midfield with Carlos Baleba dropping out today. And on the left wing, a change as well. Christian Bassogog was ever so impressive in that first match in Yaoundé, but he is replaced today. And there is a start for Brice Mumi Ngamale, who should play on the left wing. So we are ready to get underway here in Kampala today. And it's Kenya who set the ball rolling in the sunshine in the Ugandan capital. Match day 4 in Group J in this qualifying campaign to make it to the next Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, which begins in December next year. Qualifying campaign wrapping up very quickly, of course. Just 2 more match days to come after this one. And that makes the outcome of this game today crucial, really, for these 2 teams, particularly for Kenya. Cameroon on top of the group and on the offensive already. Well, there is Marc Brice, the Cameroon coach. Certainly morale boosted by that result on match day 3, beating the Kenyans comfortably in Yaoundé. Vincent Aboubakar with an early penalty. Martin Ongla, Brian Bumo and Christian Bassogog all on target as well. Cameroon certainly setting the standard in this section and looking very good to finish on top of the group. Now currently 2 points ahead of Zimbabwe, who play later against Namibia. Kenya on 4 points. It certainly looks like it's going to be between Kenya and Zimbabwe to see who can finish second behind Cameroon, but a win today would keep alive the Kenyans' chances of topping the group as the ball comes into the box. Picked up by Duke Abuya. And now with Joseph Okumu, whose presence in the Kenyan defence is precious today. The offside flag coming up, though. Kenyan coach watching on. Engin Firat, the Turkish technician who was appointed in September 2021. Bit of a difficult start for him. Kenya were not involved at all in the qualifying campaign for the last AFCON, played in Côte d'Ivoire at the beginning of this year. They were disqualified due to the Kenyan Federation's suspension by FIFA. They actually were meant to be in a group with Cameroon and Namibia, with Burundi completing it. So they have pretty much that group now. Here is Okumu. Looks like a back four, just as it was the other day for Kenya. It's the view from the bench. Giving chase here. Pine and Bumu putting Bruno Mondi in the Kenya goal under a bit of pressure. Mondi dealt with that very coolly. Ball fed through, looking for Abu Bakar, playing through the middle of the Cameroon attack. Pine and Bumu on the right, and a last-minute change to the starting lineup. The number 11 on the left wing, Christian Bassogog, in the end keeping his place in the starting lineup today. He was initially named among the substitutes, with Brice Mumi Ngamalu starting on the left-hand side, but in the end, Ngamalu is absent altogether, not even a substitute. The same can be said of Carlos Baleba, the very talented young central midfielder who started in the game in Yaoundé, but is not stripped at all today. Michael Ngadu, the survivors from the last Cameroon team to win the AFCON. He played in the final against Egypt in Libreville in 2017. Well, the shouts of the players and the coaches reverberating around this vast stadium in Kampala, with the absence of spectators certainly having an impact on the experience of everybody. Bumu's ball in, it's met by the head of Daniel Anyembe. Kenya looking to break again. Onyango feeding it through the middle. Olunga going for goal itself. Very selfish play, really, from the Kenyan skipper. He could have opened it up to the left-hand side. With the hashtag to keep on top of all the action on social media today and tomorrow, AFCON Q 2025. It's a back four for Kenya. Daniel Anyembe playing as the right back. Murwa and Okumu in the middle of the defense, and then Richard Odata and Anthony Akumu shielding midfield too. So no third centre back, but still a defensive approach from the Harambee Stars today. Understandable after events in Cameroon. Long ball asking an awful lot of Eric Otieno on the left-hand side. He'll be asked to get up and down all afternoon today. Eric Otieno plays in Poland for Raków Częstochowa. Cameroon with two centre-backs as well. Jean-Charles Castelletto with Michael Ngadu on the ball here. Deepest central midfielder for the Indomitable Lions will be Pierre Koundé. To come to the team today in place of Carlos Baleba. There is still significant depth available to the Cameroon national team. Perhaps not quite on the same scale as some other leading nations around the continent, but nevertheless, lots of talent at the disposal of Mark Priest. Had a disappointing campaign at this year's AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, beaten by their neighbours Nigeria in the last 16. The Super Eagles, of course, going on to reach the final. Andre Onana on the ball and coming way out of his penalty box here, coaxing Michael Olunga towards him. This is André-Franck Zombo Anguissa. More than half of the Cameroon starting lineup today are based with clubs in the Big Five European leagues. Onana, of course, with Manchester United. Zombo Anguissa of Napoli. Had a terrific start to the season in Serie A in Italy under the coach Antonio Conte. Tolo underlies the golfing class on paper between these two teams, because Kenya, majority of their players not playing quite the same level. And one of their starting 11 today based in one of those Big Five European leagues. That's Joseph Okumu, the central defender who plays in Ligue 1 in France with Stade de Reims. Udada could get that ball under control. He has picked it up here, though. John Avire taking on Jackson Chachua. Chachua with the challenge, and it is a Kenyan throw. Otieno with the cross, headed away by Ngadu. Picked up by Richard Odada. Warm sunshine here in Uganda today. East Africa, which will host the 2027 AFCON and the upcoming African Nations Championship. Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda hosting those two events. Of course, we are on the road to Morocco for the next Cup of Nations at the end of next year. Anthony Akumu playing in the centre of the Kenyan midfield today. Andre Onana plays the goal kick out short to Pierre Koundé. Kenya nil, Cameroon nil. 10 minutes gone in Kampala this afternoon in an empty stadium at Nambool. Suggestions that the Kenyans were not too happy to see the amount of support given by local fans to Cameroon when they came and played here against Zimbabwe last month. Putting that down to the presence of Andre Onana in the Cameroon team, of course. He does play for Manchester United, who have a big following here, as well as in many parts of Africa. Some suggestions that letting fans in might have led to an atmosphere here that felt more like a Cameroon home game. They already had that in Yaoundé a few days ago. The Indomitable Lions took advantage to claim a handsome victory, which has left Kenya up against it in the section. Remember the early results, Kenya played their first game here and drew 0-0 with Zimbabwe. So the free kick is given away by John Avire, much to his disgust. Well, there wasn't much in that between Avire and Panenbumo. John Avire plays his club football in Egypt, who has been brought into the Kenyan team today with the 4 changes made by their manager. That ball was speeding along towards the goal line. Andre Onana getting there just in time. Here is Ngadu. With spread in this Cameroon team as to where their players are based. Ngadu now playing in China with Beijing Guan. Tolo, Seattle Sounders in Major League Soccer. Free kick given again to Cameroon. And once more, the Kenyans not happy with that decision by today's referee. Well, it is a physical contest. Kunde spreading the pass out to the right-hand side. This is Zombo Anguissa turning and heading towards the penalty box. Bumo, nicely done back to Abubakar, who struck it well. I think it may have taken a deflection. Bernamundi making the save with his legs in the end. Olunga heading it on. It will run through to Andre Onana. Nice ball by Panenbumo to set up Abubakar through the legs of Odada. Abubakar's first-time shot. Rather surprising on Mondi. Did it take a deflection? Maybe we'll see here. I think it did. Mondi able to make the stop. Now then, ball looking for Chachua. Flag coming up against him. Jackson Chachua, the right back, made his competitive debut earlier this year, one of the new crop of players coming through in Cameroon. Bit of a changing of the guards following the disappointing AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire under Rigo Berson. 3 of today's starting lineup started that defeat against Nigeria in the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan at the end of January. Jean-Charles Castelletto in the central defence, Nour Tolo at left back, and Andre-Franck Zombo Anguissa in the midfield. The only ones out there today who were in the team at the beginning of that match. Vincent Abubakar did come on as a substitute in that game. Ademola Lookman was Nigeria's hero. He, of course, has been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, ceremony which will take place in 2 weeks' time. Terrific campaign with Nigeria as they got to the final of the AFCON. Also helped his club, Atalanta of Italy, win the Europa League with a tremendous performance in the final. This is Johnson Omurwa, left-sided centre-back today. Kumu. Sends it down the line, asking a bit too much of Onyango. Daniel Anyembe, Danish-born defender, plays in the Danish Superliga. Kenyan coach, recently celebrated 3 years in the job. Engin Firat hails from Turkey. He was the Moldova coach before becoming manager of the Harambe Stars. Well-travelled, worked in a number of different countries. Bumu to Nuutolo. First time ball on for Zomboangisa. Basogog alongside him. Is Basogog onside? Flag eventually comes up against Christian Basogog. Wasn't due to start the game today. He was outstanding when the teams met in Yaoundé the other day. Scored the 4th goal in that game to cap his performance. Was clearly in offside position when the pass was played. Mundi sends it long. And then Castelletto going into the challenge with Olunga. Firat is unhappy with the challenge put in on his captain. Olunga may require some treatment here. Up to the face, I think he landed heavily, Olunga. He feels that Castelletto led with the arm. Suggestion that it was an elbow that caught him in the face. Olunga is okay. It is a Kenyan free kick. Olunga heads it on and it runs through to Onana. He's not yet been troubled at all in this game, the Cameroon goalkeeper. Cameroon conceding just the 1 goal in their first 3 matches. That was Michael Olunga's effort in Yaoundé the other day. Gadu. High pressing from the Kenyan team. The throw in conceded by Chachua. Well, that's good from Harambe Stars. Kenyan fans will be watching, of course, in big numbers on television at home today, cheering their team on, looking for a famous result. Hasn't been a massive amount for them to cheer about in recent times. Helps the cross, stopped by Koundé. And eventually cleared again by Pierre Koundé. It's Kenya's only appearance at the AFCON in the last 2 decades, coming in Egypt in 2019 when they were in a really tough group. They finished behind Algeria and Senegal, the 2 teams who went on to contest the final. Algeria beat Senegal, Milan Teranga then went on to win the next AFCON, so gives you an idea of how difficult a draw they got. They did beat Tanzania, but that wasn't enough for them to go through. Castelletto dispossessed. This is a problem for Cameroon. Michael Olunga could be in. Olunga to make it 1-0, unselfishly sets up a teammate, and it comes out to Avire, and the chance is wasted. Well, Olunga probably should have gone himself. He tried to set up Djukabuya, and Engin Firat surely knows that that was a golden opportunity for Kenya to take the lead here, and a striker of Michael Olunga's quality would usually snap up a chance like that. He dispossessed Castelletto. Was he put off by the fact he was up against the goalkeeper of the quality of Onana? It was a good pass for Abuya. And then he set up a vire, but the angle was not an easy one for Kenya's number 21. Olunga surely should have gone alone. Abuya couldn't do much else there. Maybe Chachua got a touch on that, but goal kick was given. Kenya's best chance, the best chance for either team in the first 21 minutes here. Here's Olunga once more. Certainly anybody who's had an eye on club football in Qatar in recent years would be surprised that Olunga not finishing off that chance. He's averaging about a goal a game for Al Duhail. In trouble once again. Chachua having to cover because Michael Ngadu missed his kick. Castelletto. It's left Abu Bakar trying to get on the end of it, but Anyembe coming across the cover, the flag coming up anyway. We've reached the midway point in the first half. Kenya with the best chance of the game. None of their front three able to finish it off. At the other end, Cameroon seeing Vincent Aboubakar test Bernamundi. Kenyan goalkeeper standing up to the indomitable Lion skipper very solidly. Murwa with the long ball forward. Castelletto. Basogog. Tolo. These two combined brilliantly on the left wing in Yaoundé the other day. Cameroon were constantly threatening down that side. Good challenge from Castelletto. Trying to play it forward towards Aboubakar. Abuya. He wins the free kick for the challenge by Castelletto again. Jean-Charles Castelletto. Nantes in Ligue 1 in France. Aynan Bomo, a good start to the season in the English Premier League with Brentford. Ball comes through to Andre Franck Zambo-Anguissa. Kept in on the far side, and the chance is gone for Cameroon. Now then, challenge coming in on Zambo-Anguissa, and the first yellow card of the game is shown to Juka Abuya. Abuya of Young Africans, one of the big two clubs in Tanzania. Heavy challenge on Zambo-Anguissa. Clash between the two number 8s. This is an opportunity for Cameroon from the free kick. Let off at the other end a few moments ago. Looking to get the noses in front here to at least test Bernamundi. And the Kenyan goal has come in for Patrick Matassi today. Matassi was in the firing line for his performance in Yaoundé. Kunde and Basogog standing over this. Basogog will leave it for Kunde. Deep delivery. Wasn't quite kept in by Ngadu. At the far post, it is a goal kick. Kunde playing in the United Arab Emirates. It's from Limbe, English-speaking region of the country. City with a spectacular backdrop. It overlooks the ocean and is in the shadow of Mount Cameroon as well. It's also currently home to the national champions in Cameroon. Victoria United won the MTN Elite 1 last season, but they didn't make it to the group phase of this season's CAF Champions League, losing to Samartex of Ghana in the first qualifying round. Tremendous achievement for a club from Limbe to win the title. You think of some of the great names of club football in Cameroon. And then Zombo Anguissa, there is space for Basogog to the left. Pass was not quite good enough. And the chance is passed up for Cameroon. There is Mark Brees, Belgian, who was appointed earlier this year in April. Hooked away by Ukumu, helped on by Olunga. Awkward bouncing ball, which Ngadu can't deal with it. This is John Avire. Tries the shot from long range, which is blocked by Chachua. And Mbumo trying to prevent the corner. He's not managed to do so. Ball just crossing the line. Now the first corner kick of the game coming for Kenya. 20 players forward to attack this. On the left-hand side, swinging delivery by the head of Olunga. It was a good connection, it was on target, but an easy save for Andre Onana. The experienced Cameroon goalkeeper. Good ball fed through, helped on by Kunde. Martin Ongla, one of the goal scorers in the game in Yaoundé. It was a well-struck effort from Ongla. And turned behind by Omondi for a corner at the other end. We're a third of the way through this game. Two teams looking for the breakthrough. Well, turning inside to Anthony Akumu. Tried the shot, which was on target. Kunde is going to deliver this. Basogog alongside him. Bakar among the players waiting in the middle. Castelletto, who made the connection. Kenyan defence working hard to get it clear. Back it comes to Chachua. 0-0 between Kenya and Cameroon. I mentioned earlier that Kenya drew 0-0 with Zimbabwe here in this stadium on match day 1. Since then, they've played away to Namibia. The game played in Johannesburg. They won 2-1. And then in Yaoundé. Now they're back here in Kampala today. And the match day 2 game between Zimbabwe and Cameroon was played in this stadium as well. Finished 0-0 too. So yet to see a goal in the games played here in this group. Clears by Omondi under pressure. Omondi. Will kick it long. I should say that Uganda, the Cranes, have played a couple of their matches in this stadium. They beat the Republic of Congo 2-0 here last month, and then they were 1-0 winners against South Sudan in this stadium a few days ago with a goal from Bevis Mugabi. Uganda playing away to South Sudan. That is tomorrow in Group K, which also features Bafana, South Africa, on level on points with Uganda in the section. 5-0 winners against Congo the other day. A couple of goals from the outstanding midfielder Taboho Mokoena in that one. Now then, Cameroon on the front foot again. Koundé charging through the middle. And very nearly opening the scoring. His shot just wide of the post. He's hurt himself in the process there, Pierre Koundé. Terrific running from deep in midfield. Well, look at this run from Koundé, untracked, just allowed to go in between lines. Got on the end of the pass before Daniel Anyembe could get to it. It was Ongla supplying Koundé. And he was caught on the follow-through by Omondi. Nothing that would lead to a penalty, but certainly I think the presence of the goalkeeper was probably enough to put him off there as he put his shot wide, just prodding it the wrong side of the upright. What a let-off for the Kenyan defence. Won by Castelletto. Bumu, good running by Chachua. Heading towards the byline here. Chachua's ball in. Collected by Omondi. Omondi, one of 2 home-based players in the Kenyan starting lineup today. The other one being Union Yango of the country's top club, Gor Mahia. Hugely popular, of course, in Kenya. They love their football in Kenya. Gor Mahia, Nairobi, national champions, but didn't make it to the group stage of the CAF Champions League, heavily beaten by the Egyptian giant Al Ahly in the second qualifying round of that competition. Start of which is almost upon us. Another CAF Champions League getting underway. Will North African clubs dominate again? forward looking for Avire. It's gone down. The contact from Chachua. It's just two players chasing the same ball. Nothing untoward about it from the Cameroon defender. Back to Ngadu. Ongla. Ongla. Granada in Spain. Cameroon having a disappointing AFCON earlier this year, but they did have a much better campaign as hosts in 2022, finishing third in the final reckoning, even if, of course, it was heartbreak for them in the semi-finals, losing on penalties to Egypt in Yaoundé. Senegal eventually winning the trophy, beating the Egyptians on penalties in the final. Plenty of survivors in the Cameroon team now who were involved in that competition, even if the bench has seen a bit of turnover since then. Tony Conceição, the Portuguese coach, was in charge at that AFCON, and then Rigo Belson led them to this year's tournament. And that's Marc Brice, the Belgian. Not forgetting, of course, when they won the AFCON for the last time in 2017. The man in charge was a Belgian, Hugo Broos, at the helm of South Africa. Had a very impressive AFCON this year in Côte d'Ivoire. Cut back, looking, I think, for Zombo Anguissa. Nearly came to Bassogog. Cameroon are on top here. Clearance coming from Onyango. Kenya on the back foot, really struggling to get a foothold in the game, in midfield in particular. Being overrun in that part of the pitch. Nuutolo wins the free kick. I'm not entirely sure what for. Onyango is furious at that decision. Just stay cool here. So what can Cameroon do from the dead ball? Once again, Bumo and Bassogog standing over it. Two men in the wall for Kenya. 5 minutes to half-time. Cameroon given a bit of a let-off when Michael Olunga passed up a great chance to put the Kenyans in front. But since then, Indomitable Lions have been on top. And this might be the goal. The offside flag up immediately. And not even a chance to begin the celebrations for Cameroon. I think it was Nuutolo who turned it into the net. Marc Brice, the Cameroon coach, I think will be encouraged by the way his team have improved as the first half has gone on. It was offside. That ball was helped on by Zombo Anguissa. 0-0 it remains. Castelletto. Nuutolo. 0-0 between Kenya and Cameroon. Two previous matches in this stadium in this qualifying campaign have finished goalless, including Cameroon's draw here against Zimbabwe. Well, one or two problems with the pitchers here as halftime approaches in Kampala. We hope to have them back very shortly.